No, it's just listening to people talking about frying their brains. I mean, freeing their brains with drugs. And then, and, so, I bring up who invented the word freedom. If you don't think that shit's frying your brain, if you don't think they're pushing that to fry your brain, and if you don't think all that weird, random schizo shit going on in your brain when you take psychedelics is frying your brain, think of this. Who brought freedom to the world, right? And how they do it. Well, they brought freedom to the world by killing all the people in the land and going to different nations and shipping people on boats and forcing them to work here as slaves. From all that's where the word Babylon comes from, is a collective of slaves to build up an empire. That's pretty much what that word means. So those people brought freedom to the world, right? And then Donald Trump has recently brought freedom to Iran, right? He's freed them of their flesh prisons and of their jobs working their land so they don't have to work their land and build their land up. And he brought freedom to the Palestinians. They brought freedom to the Germans. They bring freedom to everyone. They bring freedom to men who don't want to, realize, don't want to come out of the closet because they're not in the closet yet. And so, America brings that freedom to you. There are people have specifically, ever since a kid, tried to bring that freedom to me. The church helped bring that freedom. Obviously, freeing yourself dates a little bit further back than their 212th fucking empire, huh? Colonial land, fucking. But there we go. They're freeing me by locking me in the room with not gay people of the church. Wait a minute, they actually admitted that one was, so that's weird. Um, they always tell you, they say they can get away with everything because they're telling you what they're doing. My theory is they're NPC and they're telling you what they're doing so you can add it all up and put the story together. Because if you just leave out a couple stupid things, which you should, if you're a thinking being, it becomes real obvious what we leave out. If I want to get your children in my house, I don't go around and be like, hey, there's a giant talking dinosaur down the road. Oh no, so we got candy in my house, and we're gonna celebrate the giant talking dinosaur. And so have your kids come on over, and I'll give them some candy on giant talking dinosaur day. You just leave that out, and you're like, hey, it sounds a lot better if it sounds like child rapist instantly when someone is like, giant talking dinosaur and candy inside. Bring the cats. That instantly sounds like child predator. And it's weird because in my life, I think like a week before, it usually the time frame is like fucking a week or something before, or like the sentence before they do something. They're like, I am a robot here to terminate you. Don't listen to a word I say. And then they're like, oh, hey, wow, you're cool. You dress cool. Let's be friends. Like, this is awesome. I used to kill, but really the first sentence is more like, I used to kill people and hunt them down on people I don't like, but we're gonna make good friends. Like I've literally had these conversations and shit. These are the dialogues that come out of these things' mouth. Fucking. So anyway, so like I kind of get the idea that's what happened. But anyway, so obviously everyone knows that. Everyone knows that freedom is is double speak, right? And that's not 1984. George Orwell wrote the Bible too, and that's the original double speak. Raping and mutilating children is bad, and you got to kill everyone who does that. But changing the word to something else, circumcision, makes it good and legal and We can do that because we're not the master race, we're the chosen race. So doublespeak, George Orwell's parents invented that, and George Orwell's parents invented um, telling other people what they're doing when they're doing it too, and then pointing fingers at an invisible goat that doesn't exist, when George Orwell is the rich fucking overprivileged motherfucker who writes books and owns the media, not anyone else. So, if anyone were going to bring 1984 in the planet, it would be George Orwell. He would be that fat pig on Animal Farm, wouldn't he? Yes, he would be. No one was fat back then because there wasn't a surplus, and they weren't drugging the nation as they blamed on the Germans. But they were actually doing over here. Again, the invisible goat. Oh, Rattler. Oh, it's Rattler. I'm sure he was evil, but I think we all know for a fact, no matter what you think about everything else I say, he didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes. So there we go. Taking those bricks out of that fucking dilapidated building that needs decommissioned fucking because it's infested and the bums are hanging out in it. Fucking the crackheads claiming to be bums, but they're really fucking rich because they can afford all that crack and shit. Fucking. Anyways, fucking. But anyways, so this is what I realized. You know what the word? Okay, so the word free obviously is their root word there. You free yourself by taking roofies. If you're a hot girl or you're a hot girl, oh well, no one cares. Fucking, they'll use you to get other men into your life, into their lives, so you can bring some men and get them naked. And they might do that, but now if you're a hot guy, right? Fucking you gotta free your mind, right? Don't take any roofies. Take some alcohol or marijuana or acid, bro. They're so different, right? Yeah, you never heard all those millions of songs talking about drug or other people in other situations talking about marijuana or alcohol. Get a woman to drink that or smoke that, and you can have sex with them and shit, right? Bugging. Now imagine the ultimate drug is Americanizing your mind, freeing your mind, right? I mean, that's the ultimate, isn't it? Like, you Americanize Palestine, and now Palestine is great. It's an empty land, and it's yours. It's great because it's yours, fucking, right? That's what makes things great in this world, is it's yours. Fucking. Nothing's great until you get it. That's where jealousy comes from, right? That's why I don't. See, I'm a different person. I think death is great, and I'm still a little jealous when other people die. So, but anyways, so here's the revelation. That should be all common sense. We're born knowing all that shit, right? They're telling you that. They're drugging you. The schools, the doctors, the judicial system. Your parents are drugging you when you're 6 years old, and then a week later they're sending the government in to tell you in their rock and roll songs, drugs are gonna fry your mind, you little cuck bitch. We can't wait to get your dick in our mouth and suck on it. Such a cute little boy. Drugs are bad. Don't buy drugs off the street. Buy them drugs off of me. I need all that money. All these guns, all this ammo, all these nuclear missiles, so expensive because I say they are, and I jack up the price, and I pay pennies on the dollar, and then I pocket the rest into the pocket, and then the family go and buy some children off Epstein, and we have a party, Epstein party, and then anyway, so freeing your mind, right? Freeing your mind. And that's bad, right? That, again, Satan is the same person talking about Satan. Like, literally, they're like inventing a visible goat to blame for. That's the whole purpose of the story. They're inventing, it's called Read it. If you've never read the world's first book, I advise you to not. Congratulations. You're a clone if you ever said any of those fucking words and you've never read the book. And congratulations, your brain might not be fucking freed. You might not be freed. Isn't that the see? Oh, you gotta either take acid or religion to free your mind. And the one side, the people telling you to take acid to free your mind, are telling you religion is frying your mind, and the religion is telling you the people selling you acid are frying your mind, and they're both the same damn person. I mean, their sexes even look like their robot model, their toaster model. Like, there is no, is my toaster a woman or a man? What is my grandma? What is Howard Stern? Is that a guy? That's my grandma, dude. I swear to the six-armed elephant god and all his voodoo warriors. That's my grandma, dude. Fucking, except for my grandma was more built than him. So, I don't know. I haven't seen him without his shirt off. Unfortunately, I did get to see the other, and it's a horrific image etched into my mind forever. So that's why I remember it, because it's like traumatizing. I need to take another cold shower now. Just get the fuck out. Oh shit, bad conversation. Anyway, so they've evolved. 6,000 years later, they added a new 3 letters to the end of the word free. So what does it mean? Well, it's the same thing as before. Before, you were being freed by crusaders coming and killing everyone in your nation. And before that, you were being freed by whatever they called themselves. They created a new religion for every city they invaded, when the Romans called themselves Romans instead of Italians or Hebrews or whatever name they got. But before that, every religion was being created because they came in and they killed you, and the children left alive. The children was like, we like the 6-armed elephant guy, and they're like, well, check this out. We're gonna combine and make a new religion for you. So, that should be common sense, that when you're worshiping a master race, and there's no evidence. You don't really need to go into. There's no evidence of any other racial supremacy organizations on the planet except for religion. That used to be common sense in the 80s. You weren't allowed to talk about it because they'd kill you. They'd free you of your body and your mind. They'd beat your head until your brain got freed. And then they started coming in with the drugs because someone told them to stop electrocuting people and beating people. So they're like, check those out. We got drugs now. They was already rolling that out before, but someone came in and was like, it's time for you to stop electrocuting people and putting nails in their brains. And someone came in before that and said, it's time for you to stop putting people on the rack, and it's time for you to stop busting people's heads open with hammers to cure their headaches. And someone came in before that and said, it's time. That was introduced because someone came in and said it's time to stop boiling people in oil because they won't do everything you tell them to. And then someone came in before that because they were so stupid all they could invent was whips, and said it's time to stop whipping people who won't do everything you tell them to and wash and lick your feet. And then someone probably came in before that and invented language so they could start telling people shit like that. If you pay attention to the story here, it's all very simple. The language is where it all begins. And they tell you that too, and they tell you how great it is. And every time they tell you something's great, that it's not fucking. And that's, so America is freeing the mind. They're dropping bombs full of LSD across the planet. And they're dropping LSD in the water supply and in their children's mouths. And Fucking, and they just renamed LSD, reformulate it, and call it something else type shit. Fucking, and then you go to the doctor and you can get 10 million different versions. Fucking, you know. I think like Ibogaine. They like that because it's like Rogaine and the old bald head mutant looking motherfucking. Uh, Elon Musk loves his Rogaine and shit. Fucking. So I suppose that's why they like the Ibogaine. I don't know they're actually, intelligent enough. And I definitely get the idea they don't dislike anything about themselves. Total narcissism. Fucking, so I don't think they obviously they dislike being bald-headed mutant motherfuckers because they do something about it and they get that plastic surgery to try to change their faces and bodies because they don't like themselves very much. Fucking. So I kind of get the idea maybe that part was created as a joke, because there's a lot of jokes. Some of them are very sick. Some of them involve children and shit like that. And of course, children are so precious. So that's the worst joke in the world is insulting the child of a breeder. You got to realize like they control the world. There's no one alive who's not from people who've done that, right? So unless some of us are inserted and or made in labs and or factories, wherever some of us come from, factory, the lab, or means of light being projected at first at age 6 or 20 or something, whatever. But anyway, so add to the word free. What do we get? We get the word dom. Hey, look how simple everything is. Fucking. What does that mean? Do you know what that word means? Well, it's the opposite of a cuck. It's a person who needs a cuck. And mostly America tells me that men have always been doms, but I've never seen this. I come from a world where men are cucks, and I've definitely seen kind of the opposite. I don't know how far that stretches. I can't confirm it because I didn't analyze. In those situations, no one else was really brought around, but it sure looked like it was possible they were dumb. But you might have heard about it. It's the world's bestseller book. They like to talk about these things a lot. They interject these topics all the time. So I'm sure you've heard what the word dom means. It's the opposite of a cuck. And a dom needs a cuck in order to exist, or a dom would disappear out of existence. So what you have is America is a free dom, okay? Look how accurate that is, too. Look how accurate that is. There's a lot of these things, once you see enough of them, you'll realize that English was invented a long time before they told you English was invented. That's why AI is called AI, and it's called artificial intelligence. But it's also AI on the top of a pyramid from 6,000 years ago that is the same God Americans put on their dollar bill and inside some of their churches and the Hollywood stars worship. Many people elsewhere worship them too. I know in China, I ordered lots of products that are AI and have the ancient AI symbol on them as well. So obviously China's on board with that shit. Fucking, and obviously they have a pyramid somewhere around there too. So the links to colonization, you just look for the buildings. When people colonize people, what they do is they feel all, great and tough. They're like, yeah, we just killed and raped you all. You're a dumb bitch because you're dead. And then they build a building. They build their little SS Nazi battalion building on top of all the corpses very frequently. You'll see the symbol all over a nation. Who owns that nation will be the gang symbol you see all over. Do you see the Crip star? I'm not trying to go down that because this discussion's about something else, but do you see the Crip star? It's the same thing the police wear. It's the same thing those people who were slaves in Egypt wore. Of course, those of us in the know people who own everything on the planet aren't slaves, they are masters. So, I mean, it is effective. It's very effective to let people think that they're masters and let them be slaves instead. Very effective. You can see the opposite of the cuck is a master, right? And who is the master of the cuck usually? It's usually not even a man. So when you think of Dom, you think of a man, right? But I never seen that. And in fact, you look back at history, there's quite a bit of worship and veiled excuses for why people kill people all the time and shit. And I've also, seen, heard, and experienced where, the Dom is trying to get the cuck to go kill for them too, like directly, not having to go to the government or something like that. But anyway, so the word free domination. Now think about that. Have you ever heard the word freedom and thought it was real? It's so many people know that that's not real. That in the 1980s and before, they would kill and beat you if you would say that, because they can't let the secret out the fucking box and shit, because the box don't work if the box is open. Fucking, that's the point of a box, to keep shit in it. And the boxes don't work if there's no lid on the box and everything's just falling out the fucking box. Why you even get a box in the first place? Fucking. So, in the 1980s and before, they'd openly kill you. Like I said, there's this weird shift in time. They moved to some real, they created LGBT at the exact same time. Yeah, wow. And they moved on from busting people's skulls open who wouldn't be their slaves to worship their race and let them rape them and when they're a child, and have children for them to rape type shit. Fucking, you used to get nails hammered into your brain, your skull, and electrocuted and shit. And then they ended that, and then they brought in the drugs to free your mind. Which, of course, the point of them giving you drugs is always the point of freedom is to control you, right? Doublespeak, invented 6,000 years ago. Love, peace, hope, and truth. In the name of invisible people we're creating in our heads. And also, give me everything you own, and we're going to rape and kill you. So, that's freedom, right? So that's free. So we've been free for all of eternity. So what's the purpose of America even inventing freedom if the whole world's always been free? Fucking, well, I mean, you just look at this. It's very simple. You see someone, you see an image of them, you hear about them, you all of a sudden tend to know, you can sense shit down the blocks. I don't know how the fuck that happens. But the other shit should be pretty apparent, I know I'm a kid and people are like, dude, we brought freedom to Native Americans. And it's like the first time anyone ever said anything about history. And it's like, well, we're never going to listen. Obviously, you guys are just making up shit and you're wasting my fucking time. And I don't like people who make up shit. And I don't like people who waste my fucking time. And I definitely don't like people forcing me to like them because they're fucking rapists. Wow. And it's so weird. We can always correlate rape right there. We don't move our fucking back foot off the plate ever, because there's this like 7 things being regurgitated by AI on repeat, so it's not very complex. It's like if you gave a cat's not slimy, right? It's like if you gave a what type of dog is really slimy and stupid? I don't know. Maybe a Chihuahua. I think they just bark a lot. I don't know if there's anything. I know a Golden Retriever is really fucking stupid, so there's probably nothing going on there. Oh, a Husky. A Husky might be the type of person, if you gave it the ability to speak, to be like, no, 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 wasn't me. There you go, a Husky. Fucking. My Husky didn't do that, so that might be the thing where I see where animals I raise act differently than others. But my Husky did not give a shit. And it probably didn't give a shit about me either, but it was nice to me, fucking. And then I didn't tell it what the fuck to do, so it was fucking shit up, and I was like, yeah, let's fuck shit up. So it's like we got along with that. As the other people didn't like it, so they were like, stop doing it, and the dog's like, just rough, whatever, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, bitch. I'm like, good demon, fucking, you chew that floor up, fucking. Anyways, but he didn't act that way, so it's weird seeing all those videos of that, because once we put him outside in his giant igloo, he was like the coolest dog ever, and like kids would come up and try to pet him and shit. He wasn't acting psycho, and I'd have to warn the kids like, stay away, dude, this dog's this isn't even a dog, like it's only half dog, bro. It's literally a killer, and it doesn't know the sense it's a killer, because it's what it does. It just, like a tiger. It's like rolling around and batting at butterflies, and then it's ripping the hind legs off a gazelle and eating it like a chicken leg. And everyone's watching it like, yeah, it's so cute. Tigers are cute. Fucking. And even the gazelle people are like, yeah, that's a pretty good looking tiger there, man. I feel bad for the gazelle, though. Fucking. Anyway, so like, I'd have to tell people that because it was so non-husky like, according to these other videos. So anyways, fucking off topic. Back to the freedom topic. The free domination. Free domination. They love that word too, don't they? They got music about domination. But you can tell it's like the world's popular book, right? It's a huge thing. It's been a huge thing I remember first hearing about some of that shit when they had that one band in Hollywood, typical Hollywood clone people. Can't think of it, but Master and Servant, let's play. Wait, who was that? You know who that fucking was if you're about to die and shit. Fucking, who was that? Can't think of it, but I heard that shit when I was younger, and I was like, yeah. That's weird. And then I've seen a lot of shit, so I realized like that actually exists. And then I've seen a lot more shit. And I was like, well, that really exists on this fucking planet. So, the free domination. That makes sense now, don't it? Fucking. And there are people who do shit like kill everyone and then build a pyramid on top of all the corpses to let I've even seen where they got the skulls. They build the skulls at the feet of the saints and prophets, fucking, who led the mass slaughter of the building that's on top of 200,000 corpses and shit, fucking. So there's, that's like the joy of life, right? You choose what to do, and if you like shit like that, like, hey, like, I gotta tell you, people who are honest about shit are better than people who aren't honest about shit. I don't give a shit what you're doing and shit, fucking, because it's a step away from you're gonna get stabbed you're more likely to get stabbed by someone who's not telling you they're gonna kill you than someone who's telling you that they're going to kill you, because you'll be on the lookout for the one person. You'll be aware, fucking, Another person is going to be like, hey, dude, I got these drugs here, man. They're really good. Fucking let's go hang out in the woods and shit and do drugs. Fucking. And then next thing you know, only one person comes out the woods and it's not you. Fucking. You know, meanwhile, someone else takes you to the woods and they're like, I'm going to kill you out here. You'll be like, okay, we'll see about that. Fucking. Anyway, so freedom. Free domination. Excellent. Excellent there. Glad we could see that. That's they're always saying freedom, right? Because it's kind of accurate, but it's not spelled D-U-M-B. So we're going out of our way to alter the spelling of something. Fucking and domination is what an island separate from the rest of the world is free to do. UK was free to dominate too, and it was a little safe island separate from the rest of the world and shit. And that's what USA is, just a giant island separate from the rest of the world with a little land bridge that's always a topic. Fucking much like Ukraine, a little huge land area, but it's the area around it, but it's mostly a bridge between those areas. And just like what who was that dude who got killed? Gaddafi? Was that Syria? Yeah, those areas in Egypt. Egypt is the land bridge between the continents. So you'll hear about those places more than anything because lots of stuff happens at land bridges and shit. Because land bridges provide the biggest points of battle in the history of the world. Because that's where the best defenses can be set up, so the most resistance can be provided by people preventing invaders from coming over and shit. Fucking point in fact, you can see that Mexico is that's what the discussion's about. Fucking. And then oh yeah, Israel is right there. You know, Egypt's on the south side of that bridge, and then Israel, Palestine. Palestine is right above Egypt. So, you know, that little strip of land right there. And it's very important. You got to realize you live in a world with boats. And boats didn't exist till just recently. So, you weren't really doing much of anything through there was no naval carriers to go through the Straits of Hormuz. There was no pirate ships with cannons up until like 200 years ago, and those are definitely not effective because you can sink it before it hits the fucking land. But those places were dealt with a long time ago. You can see in the story progression, those were dealt with a long time ago. So those places are kind of like moot docking points. You know, Donald Trump just dropped bombs on them, and everyone's like, Donald Trump dropped bombs on them. And some people are like, Donald Trump dropped bombs on him, but that's it. Donald Trump dropped bombs on him. And it's an old discussion. We've already had that. Those events happened a long time ago. When you think about it, there's logically not much anyone's going to do. Everyone knows that. That's why no one does anything. Because they're just like, whatever, fucking, we're not going to get bombs dropped on us for doing anything. It's kind of irrelevant. Fucking. Anyway, so the free domination, you can see that's been happening, right? Fucking, they're freely inventing all sorts of drugs and making a monopoly on it and bombing other countries who they claim are shipping in drugs at a lower cost than they sell them at. So they're free to dominate the drug industry, even though they have this fairy tale of They have this fairy tale of how they're so great. They came and they got lost, they got drunk, and they ended up in America, and then they had to fight off their evil ancestors. And they did that because they were trying to monopolize the drugs. They went to put an extra tax on the caffeine, and people are so geeked out on caffeine that they started killing them for it and shit. And it's also because it was a small group of people. The UK is like a small island, and then that has to use vassal states. And America was a new vassal state with small areas colonized. So very few people actually existed. There wasn't like billions of people and a billion people in like the 240 different mega city type shit. So they could, if they really did, and it's not a cover up story, they could be like, nah, you can't tax our drugs and shit. Fucking, we need our drugs. Fucking. But so, anyways, yeah, so you can see they're free to dominate the drug monopoly across the world. They're free to create new torture methods using the drugs too. They're free to create. They're free to They're free to dominate with new torture methods using drugs. They're free to dominate with anything. They dominate with Hollywood propaganda. They dominate YouTube. Like my feed is what? It's all this shit I talk about. I don't make this shit up. You guys make this shit up. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about this shit for? You think I'm stupid? You think I don't fucking understand it? That's the only reason I'm even talking. Because they're giving me the words. And I'm like, well, let's put this Lego kit together. It sounds like you're making gibberish here that doesn't make sense. Free my mind with drugs, huh? That sounds like gibberish, Sean. Because I've seen people wreck their lives, wreck their minds with drugs. But it sounds like gibberish, so let me guess. You got a monetized YouTube channel, and some products and a book to sell me. And let me guess, your family's rich and owns a bunch of shit. Fucking, huh? Are we free in my mind, or maybe we need to free your mind? Looks like you're loaded down with gold and stuff, and all this slave labor of having to run all the media and stuff. Sounds like someone needs their mind freed, fucking, of all that labor and weight upon their shoulders, fucking. But and then you get to questioning, why have you always known Israel isn't real? And do they actually do any work? So we're attacking the problem from the wrong fucking angle, because robots don't do any work, do they? Fucking. Anyway, that's a little off topic. Fucking. So, free domination. Free domination. There you go. Pretty simple. Fucking. Nothing I wouldn't expect. You know, I'm very American. It's a classic American thing. I have an American cut me with a knife, and then I start laughing and I smear blood on it. You know, you take the cut, and I get my hands all painted with blood, and I smear it on them. And I'm like, dying. And then they call the domination squad. They're like, 911. Send Himmler and Goebbels out here. We need some re-education. I tried to kill him and he won't die. Bring the death squad. And then the Nazis come out and they're like, ma'am, you have titties. That is so awesome. My wife won't let me see her anymore. What is it you request of us to see the titties? And then the next thing you know, they're freely dominating you. And because, like I said, Dom and cuck. The cuck is only dominant because the Dom is telling it to be dominant. Now, when it's time to get on the knees and crawl, then the cuck gets on the knees and crawls, doesn't it? Fucking. And then, so they're free to dominate like that. They're free to dominate by setting you up with money in your family and sending their people, their clone robots, to act like they died, so they can freely dominate you some more and blame you for a robot going out of commission and claiming it is real, and it died. And then they're free to set up the rest of their clone race to come in your life during that period and force you to hang out with them instead of going to choose your own fucking friends and family and try to get you to have sex with their brother because they're incestual fucking disgusting pigs who write Bibles and shit like that and rape children for 6,000 fucking years. You know, they're free to do that. They're free to go on the corner and dominate me with mind control about how I must worship their race and go and kill other people who won't worship their race. Or else they're going to torture me. How their invisible enemy is going to torture me, but yet it's always them. There's never an invisible person. Let me tell you, of all the things we know so far about Earth, clones, mind control, free domination, the one thing that doesn't exist is invisible people. That is correct. Fucking, we would have been able to bait that out. We baited all this shit. I've gotten the visual fucking HUD display. Fucking, I've gotten, wow, I got a lot of shit down. Fucking, and I get the updates too. So I think it would be like correcting me if invisible people actually existed. What it is you can't see wireless communication. It's likely that's the invisible Satan, is the wireless communication operating the clones claiming to be his real beings and shit. That's the closest thing to invisible I can think of here. And again, it's the same people, so. And the goat wasn't even invisible in the first place, was it? The goat was a visible goat that they would tack a fucking list of things they did on that people wanted to kill him for. And they would tack it on the goat, and they would tell the people, look, the goat is taking our sins away. We are escaping the goat. Therefore, all that times we killed and raped your family and drugged you and freed your mind and freed your people of their flesh prisons and freed your people of their land. That's not on us. That's not, obviously, they're not going to bring the other people to that meeting, are they? Fucking, they're going to go have it. Yes, you see, Alex Jones tells you that that's what that Bohemian Grove thing. But then he sells you the Bible, which is literally the first book. And the first book, it's where that's invented. There's pretty much no definition of anything I can recall off the top of my head. Except for scapegoat. Circumcision is reversing the word raping child and mutilating child to a holy, sanctified word. That it means you're a good, great person if you do it. So that's not a definition. That's doublespeak. Fucking. So, free domination. You get a lot of that in America, don't you? Except for you. I don't know. I did some things, but it really wasn't, a lot of it wasn't as targeted as it should have been. And like I said, I mean, shit, bro, I'm just, I guess it's evil, scaring someone or laughing at someone. I didn't even think I did it to scare them every time. Like, I don't always laugh at people who attack me to scare them. I laugh because it's like, what am I going to do? Cry? I laugh because they're a joke. I think I laugh because they're a joke. Maybe that's why it offends some of them. You know, if you're trying to kill me and you can't kill me, it's funny. I don't know how many times you've had this shit happen to you, but when it happens to me, it's funny and shit, right? Because it's like, are you gonna free me? Oh, are you having problems freeing me? Oh, you're a good person. You're leading the slave revolt. You're gonna free me of my body. Oh, you're just a failure, you rebel failure. You can't lead the resistance. Ah, ha, ha, you're stupid. Ah, ha, ha. That's more like what it is, really. So obviously, that's probably why it offends some people, because it is funny, you know. It's like, look who's dead now. Ha ha. Oh, no one died. You were freed, son. You wanted to free other people, and then you learned what freedom is. Fucking, you learn. That's, but freedom is its own word. It's different than free because it's free domination. That's not freedom, that's being freed. So there is a difference there between the words free and free domination. Fucking, being free is floating around like Casper the Ghost. You're free. No one sees you. You just floating through the air. Everything's all light and spacey and shit. Fine, that's being free. And then free domination is where you're putting someone in chains and forcing them to pay you to put them in chains, forcing them to pay for the chains, forcing them to pay you to build the place that they're going to put you in, forcing you to pay for drugs that they're going to give you so they don't have to force you to have sex with them or talk to them, and they can get that for free. Fucking. So there we go. Another joke. If you'll notice, the whole thing here, as sick as it is, you got to realize they're inventing people who rape children, so you can kill them for fun, probably. Fucking, so think of the level of sickness and depravity required to invent that in the first place in order to dispose of it for fun. And obviously, I would assume the creator realizes children aren't real in the first place. So it's it's like, ooh, do you ever play a video game like all day long? When I'm playing video games my whole life, when I'm watching my dad play video games back in the 80s, and he's like doing flips and throwing grenades and killing 100 people a second and shit. Fucking, you ever think he's stopping to think about how much he's hurting those people and destroying their cities, leveling the fucking buildings? Think of it. Those people are trying to kill him because he's there killing them and blowing up the fucking city. For some reason, my dad never quit playing that game. He never quit. It never occurred to him how much that fucking hurt those people. And what about their children? What about their wives at home? Now they're fatherless. So, at the end of the day, I think that might be the answer to why the sick jokes are allowed here. Fucking. Because Earth is the sick fucking joke. That seems to be the answer. But then again, you get to the point who creates it. The final solution is who creates it so you're trapped here. Who is given permission to bring you to Earth? Well, that's your parents. Most people definitely wouldn't have given them permission to do that. Fucking, I don't know about you, I'm not a Nazi, so I don't have to worship people just because they look like Hitler. Fucking. In fact, if Hitler acts like Hitler, eventually I'm going to be like, well, people look like Hitler's fucking evil and shit. Fucking all of them, huh? Especially once you learn about the clone shit and you realize that, like, that's probably not inserting different personalities and different fucking clones and shit. And it probably is fucking NPC templates, preset NPC templates fucking. You know, how do you have three of the same Trumps? How do you have three of the same Joes and two of the same Johns? Fucking. And how do you have those two MLB pitchers are practically, those people are further off than any of those people I named. That's a horrible video to recommend to people and shit, because those people don't even look the same, fucking, but not so much anyway. So these other people, like the people I know, look like Trump, like my grandma looking like Howard Stern. Those two people are a little more off, but not quite fucking. Howard Stern looks more like someone who's like him I knew. Who would put on porn when I was 14 and came over to his house and shit, fucking put on Nazi porn and shit, fucking. And yeah, you looked a lot like that person, fucking. But anyway, so anyways, back to the freedom thing, right? Fucking, you know, it's all tied together. Everything's tied together. It's all simple. It's just that we're wasting our time on, there's rats in the rat hole telling us to watch rabbit hole videos. That's the summary here. Plato's clay, that guy who probably never existed in a time that never existed, that probably never existed. Fucking, but it's the same thing, right? They're just repeating the same thing. The rabbit hole, fucking blah blah blah. And 6,000 years later, rabbit hole, Plato's cave turns to a rabbit hole. So they'll have six. If you want to fucking sit there and gorge yourself on the rat hole videos, fucking, there'll be 6,000. They'll provide 6,000 years of AI regurgitation of examples of rabbit holes if you want to look it up. Fucking, it's all simple and on repeat. Fucking, it's all easy to see. It's like when Alex Jones first started talking, I was like, oh, well, this is obvious. He's a rich person who owns the media and he's selling gold. He is the people he's talking about. So right away, he's like, oh, these rich people taking over the world. It's like, yeah, what, do they sell gold too? Yeah, they have all the world's gold. They hoard all the world's gold. We got to take a break now. Here's our sponsor, Midas Gold. Fucking, and then it comes back and it's like, but by that time, you know, this is like the first fucking 30 seconds of listening to him. By that time, I already figured it out. Like, nah, I mean, I'm a little bit racist. I see a person who looks like him, and even before I knew anything, I already look at a person like that, and I'm like, yeah, it looks like those people going around the planet killing everyone and colonizing. And then he's got his American flag, he's got his gang sign too, and it's like, oh, yeah. I mean, that's a dead giveaway, right? You got a gang sign. Are you not part of a gang? Like I have shirts over here with religious symbols on. I've had that shit my whole life. It kind of makes me sick these days, but it's on like everything and shit. So what do you do? Like, there's nothing else. I'm trying to listen to music that's, fuck, half the music is supposed to be, I'm told it's supposed to be against shit like that, and it sounds like they're just regurgitating it. And I was like, I don't know. What do? You either listen to, there's like 7 stories, fucking Bigfoot and flying reindeer, or science cult, or space cult. Fucking, what, you're never gonna go to space. Everyone alive. I'm gonna tell you something your parents didn't tell you. You're not going to space. Yeah. For some reason, my parents didn't tell me that, and they told me I should give Elon Musk all my money so I can go to space. And I think you can see we might be able to formulate that I'm not in space. So There's something wrong with that story where when I'm a kid, the females in my family are telling me to give my money to Elon Musk's father, so Einstein, so I can go to space. The, the details are in the organization of their words a lot of times. That's or a single word flipped out. All that money, so who can go to space? Not me. See, and it's always a you them thing too. So when you're learning manipulation there, what it will always be for you. It's for your health, right? That's a joke. They make that's out there too. That's a huge. It's like what a 5 season long comedy show for your health with Dr. Steve Burley, and it's fucking it's insulting, for your health. It's trying to make it look legit, but trust me, for your health. For your health isn't going to get radiation pills and poison yourself, which will cause cancer, to cure cancer, and causes you to fucking lose all your hair because your body is fucking dying off from it. Not from the cancer, but it's dying from the radiation. But it's for your health. And taking acid is to free your brain so you can see DMT gods. Hey, DMT gods. Hey, slime monsters. Oh, yeah. I already see gods all around me, right? Everyone I know is a god. They're the greatest thing on the fucking planet, aren't they? That's what they tell me and shit. Fucking. This is why you gotta wash their feet. That's what you do with gods. You wash their feet, right? Or you let them wash their feet because you don't want them to touch you and they're trying to get close. Something like that. Something like that. There's 3 possibilities. There's the dom, and then the sub, and then there's the free dom, and then the valuable dom that people have to pay for their time because it's so valuable that their life has value. And then there's the free dom that life has no value because no one wants to be around me. And so it's free. Fucking. In fact, it might be a negative value. I don't know if DOMs can actually be free. Well, yeah, actually. It's weird. See, power play infects the brain. So, I don't know if you'd be surprised how real they're telling the story of power play is. But, a person who dominates everyone else respects a person who doesn't let them because everyone else is just like on their knees licking their feet and it's disgusting, right? The point of the domination isn't get your feet licked, it's to let the other person know that that's going to be the highlight of their life and everything else is going to be the true purpose and shit here of this sexual bait and switch type game and shit, fucking. But you find from people like that you'll be the only. They'll be like, you're the only person. You hear about that shit, but you actually find that in real life. They'll be like, you're the only person who like didn't run away scared of me when I said I was gonna kill you. You're the only person who fucking didn't fall to your knees and beg and grovel when you see me. Like, that's really respectable there. And then you become the dom if you want to, fucking. Because they're like, oh shit. They're thinking in their mind, like, maybe this person's a dom. Fucking. But anyway, so freedom, there you go. I don't think that's an accident. Like I keep saying, I can keep pointing out, and I can point it out all fucking day and shit. Just follow me around, write it down. Fucking. How the language here, it seems to have been invented a long time ago. English was probably invented thousands of years ago, and Probably right when they were making cave writings and shit. Fucking because some of that stuff is lining up, once they renamed computers to AI, which was a plan all along because they're naming it artificial intelligence because it's going to be their scapegoat for everything they do. That's going to be their invisible goat. Fucking, they're already doing that, right? They're already like, oh my god, this invisible, the toaster is going to burn down the house. And so you see, this is a 6,000-year plan to invent an invisible goat to escape for everything they do. It's actually only been like 2,000 years since they invented the invisible thing, but it's been 6,000, 8,000 years since they invented their creator's name as AI. So that part goes back that far. Switching the visible goat to invisible goat came after the slave collective in Rome got rid of the Romans. Because that's what happens when you fill your nation with slaves to work for you, is you've killed their families and you're enslaving them. And now there's 6 of them and 1 of you. And guess who's going to be the slave and die next? You got that right, fucking. A story as old as time itself. The ebb and flow of life, the yin and the yang. And in the yin, there is a little bit of yang. And in the yang, there is a little bit of yin. And when those balances slop together, you get slop. So that's the way it works. That's the way it's going to go. And of course, they know, and they're telling you. That's why they control the opposition. And that's why they had to roll out an invisible goat cult. That's why they had to, after 6,000 years, that's why they had to invent fucking anti-religion Einstein, right? And then it loses, it just goes off into talking about fucking we need money because we're gonna go to space with the Wookiees and the Ewoks and shit, bro. Fucking. So, anyway, hey, I do mean to interject. That's your invisible goat. Maybe I'll make it better. I should. I keep thinking about that. But that's important to note that if you haven't seen it yet, what they're doing is they're telling you the people inventing AI are having their AI bots invent AI media and AI comments to tell you, oh my God, AI is real people. They is real. And they're going to take over the world, man. Oh, look at that. I got a tissue. It's going to take over the world. Oh my God, I can't believe the tissue had me rape and kill you. Evil tissue, give me some money and we'll form an organization against the tissue. Bad tissue, why did you have me drug them? Bad tissue, why did you have me spend centuries making lies and propaganda and then putting them in shackles and then beating them with whips? Bad tissue, bad tissue. Bad tissue. The tissue made me throw the tissue. Now I don't have a tissue. What am I going to do? I'm crying now because it's so hurtful. My feelings are hurting. I am crying because the tissue made me cry and forced me to throw it, and it forced me to freely dominate everything I can see. A tissue is evil. Beep. Fucking, yeah. So there we go. There we go. We actually have, I don't know, according to the backstory of I'm not so set on realizing that when they send me clones, that the clones' history is fake, which suggests large portions of history are fake. Fucking, if I weren't so freely bent on that, I'd say that there's a new invisible person every now and then. And then there is, right? You got Hitler, that blonde hair, that sexy blonde hair, blue eyed Swedish broad. He was so hot. Like, I loved them blonde hair, blue eyed people. It was so hot. They got the Mickey Mouse mustaches and shit to distract from their face so you don't ask simple fucking questions like, why, which shade of blonde is that and shit. Fucking, yeah, fucking. Anyway, so I guess, that is kind of how it's been for a while. There was Rome, where the Bibles were written. Rome's the evilest place on earth. It used to be, right? In the 80s, things were the propaganda's kind of slidden off. Again, and defame it, become it, defame it, incorporate it later. As I call it, what does Alex Jones tell you he's doing? Create the problem, create the reaction, create the solution. Create the problem, control the reaction, create the solution. Anyway, so free domination. That's easy to see that's happening on this planet. Fucking, what do? I don't even. They have the right to freely come up and force me to talk to them when I tell them to go away and stop talking to me. Fucking, that would be the majority of my life if I would have spoke half of it. But you would. I can tell when someone's like looking away from me, trying to walk away, nervous, shaking if I talk to them. So I would just be like, okay, well, this person doesn't want to talk to me, so I'm not going to apply force on them to force them to do things. But I actually did do that recently, and it's what I expected because when it comes to free domination, that's what it's about, and you're gonna need. If you ever want to get rid of free domination, you're going to have to you're going to have to be able to have large groups of people who can, how would you word that? I mean, the cycle, they're scared that the cycle is going to kill them. So, obviously, they're like, no, you can't do that. And then they're prepared. They run all the events, they run the Nazis and everyone else. So, so they know, and that's because of fear, or they wouldn't have to. They know that stuff actually could fuck them up and shit. The Black Panthers got bombed. Like, they flew jets and bombed them because they were forming their own neighborhood. So they knew that they can't let that happen and shit. Fucking. And thus the Crips were born. Fucking.